Iraq War veteran and former military police sergeant Christopher Neiweem. Christopher, good morning to you. Talk about these numbers. I mean, a particularly violent Labor Day weekend in Chicago. To Mills is reporting 50 people shot, 8 of them fatally. Do the numbers like that only bolster the White House's message that troop presence is needed in Chicago?
Absolutely, Markie. And I'm from the Chicagoland area, and there's obviously a mayor there who is completely incompetent. One of government's primary duties, there's really only two, which is to collect taxes and keep people safe. So you don't have a democracy when you're killed and when your neighborhood's not safe. So, for example, the gentleman that on the lead-in, you can't send therapists and support into a neighborhood that's not safe where their life's going to be in danger. So you have to get security first. And when the Gold Coast was smashed up and all the frontline stores several years back, and every single uneasy protest, it's been out of control for a long time. And I have a lot of friends on the Chicago police force that welcome this sort of intervention as it's completely necessary at this point. So absolutely, it does White House's position on this.
There are estimates that the crime crackdown in D.C. is costing roughly $1 million a day. And here in Chicago, you hear from leaders, you hear from locals who say, well, why not spend that kind of money investing in youth outreach, crime prevention programs instead? I know you just said, that wouldn't be a smarter way to spend the money, but is spending it in this way, troops on the ground, boots on the ground, in your eyes, that's the smartest way to spend this kind of federal cash?
Yeah, well, these are also the same people that want to send millions and millions of dollars overseas for people that do basket weaving as well. This is important. Our safety is important. This has gone on for too long, for too many years. We've seen this through different eras. And another point that's never been mentioned about the National Guard is they are citizen soldiers. This idea that we have our military, they're both. These people have regular jobs. There's the idea of community policing and different police styles throughout history since policing began in England. One of them is community policing. It's a good opportunity for people to get to know who the National Guard troops are. They actually serve them. So as it's buttressing law enforcement's mission, I think it's wise. It's way past due. And for people that live in those areas and look at this weekend, look at what's happening, you'd have to be completely foolish not to think that there has to be a new way. And this is it. Until things can get under control and we can get into the fall and get some of these incidents to reduce.
Yeah. What are their legal limits? I'm here in Chicago, too. That's where this show is based. And a lot of people are wondering what this kind of presence is going to look like. There are people who are praising this. Not everybody is against it, of course, but there are a lot of people who are nervous about it. What should people expect, and what are the legal limits of the Guard?
Right, that's a great question, Mark. And I think people should get to learn and to look at some of the history beyond that. There are limitations. We know, for example, in D.C., the president's authority with the police force will expire. Now, Congress, the use of the Guard could be, there is no limit, essentially, with Congress's approval and the president being able to do that. But I think we're going to see those forces withdraw when things improve. But those are all constitutional limits. Courts will look at some of these things, but ultimately, things are completely out of control there. And it's a stabilizing force, a law enforcement force, not a military force, and that's what its purpose for. It's the National Guard, not just a unique area. So I think educating themselves, and I think this will cool off as the weeks go. But we've got to get a grip on this somehow, Markie. Something has to be done. Well, the president's doing it.
We'll be watching and waiting to see how this plays out in Chicago, and also what happens in Congress in this new session if they expand it past 30 days in D.C. as well. Christopher Neiweem, thank you so much as always, sir. Have a good one.
Markie, you have a good one.
Thank you for watching. Subscribe below and download our NewsNation app right now on your phone, and you will get fact-based, unbiased news for all Americans.